This is Joseph Mallard William Turner's slave ship painting. The full name is Slavers Throwing Overboard the Dead and Dying, Typhoon Coming On. He painted it in 1840 and it is now located in the Museum of Fine Arts in Boston.
In the painting, Turner depicts the atrocities of the Zong Massacre, which had sparked the abolitionist movement in England and led to the end of slavery in 1833. The slave ship was made to re-energize the abolitionist movement during an anti-slavery conference. Turner's painting is based on a poem and set the stage for art movements in the future.
When you first glance at the painting, you see a beautiful picture of the sea, but as you look closer, you see some horrific things going on. There are lots of random body parts floating in the water, like there's a leg and a shackle being eaten by fish in the front. The back of the painting is where the ship is located, carrying slaves. A storm was coming, so they began to throw the slaves overboard, because that was the only way that they could collect insurance money. They couldn't if the slaves died on board.
A sense of drama and fury is portrayed through the intense use of bright reds, oranges, and yellow. There's an atmosphere of violence and chaos as the yellow and white of the sun's light swirls into flame, illuminating the purge of evil. The dark purples and blue create an uncertain environment as a slave ship enters the storm. We can see that at the top corners, diagonal to each other, are the lightest parts of the painting, connecting the slave ship to the drowning slaves.
There's a contrast between the beauty of nature and the horrible things done to slaves, like in this picture specifically, but also just as a whole. After the original owner, it got into the hands of an abolitionist in Boston who advocated the ending of slavery. This painting did help show the world some of the horrors going on, which eventually led to the end of the transatlantic slave trade, because Turner created this painting to urge the British to increase efforts against slavery around the world. Slavery was outlawed in America after the Civil War, 25 years after this painting was created.
Another aspect that's prominent in the painting are the lines. We can see diagonal lines on the ship's mast, highlighting the fury of the storm. The ship's lines fade as it approaches the storm, emphasizing the fleeing ship leaving behind the drowning slaves.